Hi, everyone. This is Sarah here with one of my good friends and great colleagues, Sabrina Chaw. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone.
Sabrina's calling in from her sunroom in San Francisco. And for those of you who don't know about Sabrina, she's the founder of a feminine feast, and she's a wellness and empowerment coach for women. And I've known Sabrina for several years now. We both study with the same women's hatha yoga and spiritual teacher, Sophia Diaz. So, Sabrina, I'm really, really grateful that you can be here and that we can talk about this important topic of becoming more empowered around our cycles and the seasons of our lives as women.
Mhm.
And I invited you here today so that we can talk a little bit about one of the stones that it hasn't really been turned over in terms of women's health and empowerment, and that is the transition of perimenopause.
Mhm.
Can you just take a moment to quickly define for us what is perimenopause?
Great. Well, thank you, first of all, Sarah, for doing what you do. I think perimenopause is such a important topic because what happens is that women aren't aware of what the symptoms are and they tend to ignore it. So I'll just talk about what it is and maybe some of the symptoms that it would be good to know about. Well, perimenopause, first of all, is the pre-stage to menopause. And as you know, menopause is the cessation of the ovulation of your eggs. It's basically when you have no more viable eggs, that is menopause. And perimenopause is the stage before that. And it varies as far as what the age is. Generally, it happens after the age of 35 on up to maybe like 50, because the average age of menopause is around 51. And a lot of women in their mid 30s, they don't know that, wow, they're in a perimenopause stage. And it's really good to know that some of the symptoms are things like you might have mood swings or some mild depression, and you don't know, wow, why do I have this cloud over my head? Or maybe like foggy thinking, just a lot of emotional changes. And it's not, sometimes we experience that through PMS. In perimenopause, it's like a lot. And,
Can I
and
just
it's,
ask you one question? Because those are some of the things that I experienced with PMS.
Mhm.
I'm 34, I'll be 35 this year.
Mhm.
So, how would I know, like, if that was turning from PMS into perimenopausal symptoms? Does it just have
Because
more intensity or what?
it has more frequency.
Uh-huh. So
It
it
has more
wouldn't
frequency.
just be during that PMS window?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It could be throughout the entire month. So you know that you're transitioning from like just a PMS type of symptom into perimenopause because it happens more frequently. You're right, and it can happen more intensely, and it just begins to be more chronic.
Hmm.
That you realize, wow, I'm just not myself, and you just know that your body is undergoing a change. You start to understand that whatever you were like going through in life or putting up with and maybe sweeping under the carpet, like not going after your purpose or not speaking your truth or not expressing yourself emotionally, those things start to become less tolerable because of the various swings in hormones that make your moods more unpredictable.
Hmm.
So if you combine unpredictable moods with the things that we choose to do in our truth and expression, then you can get a tornado. And so relationships start to be impacted.
Yeah.
Your life starts to be impacted in so many ways. And so when you start going into perimenopause is when you start to feel that like shift in emotionality in a more chronic level.
Hmm.
And also on a physical level, your period starts to change, your moon cycle. Either it starts to shorten in the duration, or it starts to become more frequent, or the flow tends to get heavy then light, or maybe it's
Hmm.
lighter. So those are some of the more physical signs, in addition to things like breast tenderness, vaginal dryness, decrease in libido, things like that.
Okay, so I have like I'm noticing some like resistance coming up in me as I hear you talk about this. Like,
Hmm.
oh, like I live with this stuff during my PMS, and then to have it just like a wild card at any time of the month. Um, what are some ways that we as women, when that starts to happen to us, that we can proactively work with it
Hmm.
rather than fight it or ignore it? Like just some really simple, practical ways.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first thing that we as women can do is just really start to look at the choices we're making in our life regarding how we're nourishing ourselves. And when I say nourishing ourselves, I mean through like the food that you choose to eat, the choices you make regarding like, is this the right relationship for you? Is this the right career path for you? Because perimenopause, more than any other time, is really affected by stress. Because there are stress hormones that are in play here that are affected by the adrenals. And during perimenopause, adrenals actually produce some progesterone and estrogen. We don't know that, but they do. And so if we're also undergoing a lot of stress, then that's going to wreak havoc with our progesterone and estrogen levels too, because of the adrenal impact on that. So one of the practical things you can do is just actually get reflection from your girlfriends or your friends, other friends or coach or whatever, and say, am I really living my truth? Am I really living what I need to live?
Hmm.
And am I doing it in a way that is meaningful to me, that is truly expressive of my gifts? And if not, then they should look at that. They should get your book, for one. Sarah, I know you didn't pay me to say that.
I did, I did. That's why I'm friends with you.
It's a great book. It really, really is. And thank you for creating that. And it's just really looking at getting that type of wisdom like you give in your book, because this is the time to do it. And it's a good time to maybe go to a nutritionist to talk about, like, what are some of the things that you can eat. For example, really rich antioxidant type foods that are full of the vitamins and minerals that you need during this period. Because perimenopause, also a lot of vitamin depletion is happening, because, again, stress levels and you don't know how to handle it, your moods are going every which way. And so like B vitamins and vitamin C for your immune system and vitamin A and all sorts of other minerals. I'll be talking about some of them as we go into more detail in our talk. But a lot of it has to do with also your bone health.
Mm.
And a lot has to do with how do you support your hormones as well, through like having the right type of fats, like essential fatty acids, like flaxseed oil, cod liver oil. And surprisingly enough, I get resistance a lot from women. And you tell me if you're resisting this one, Sarah. That is that is saturated fats.
Oh
Right?
no, I love saturated
Yeah,
fats.
yeah.
I'm
I
like a
figured you do.
fat queen. I love my fat.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know you in the book and everything. It's. I know you really appreciate that. But a lot of
I
women say,
know.
I can't do that. I'll
It was a
get.
big learning curve for me, being anorexic in my past. I mean,
Hmm.
I really think that was a part of a lot of my emotional and physical imbalances that I wasn't eating any fat. I was so scared of it.
Yeah,
And once I like broke through that barrier, which was uncomfortable, it completely changed my life.
yeah, exactly. And that's what changed my life too, because I used to be a vegan. And vegetarianism, veganism, and various food choices and lifestyles are different for everybody. And it changes. Veganism worked for me in my earlier years, and now as I got older and I needed more to balance my hormones more, I needed cholesterol, which is a precursor for hormones.
Hmm.
And they're absolutely necessary, that fat, to really have supple, cell membrane walls so that your cell receptors for estrogen and progesterone can talk to each other. Mm-hmm. So fat is really, really important. And so if you can incorporate more of that in your diet, that would be really, really good too.
Thanks a lot, Sabrina, for joining us. And this is such an important topic, and I'm excited to learn more from you. I just have one last question, actually. Mm-hmm. What is one word that you would use to encapsulate more of the spiritual implications of menopause for a woman?
Mm-hmm. One word that captures a spiritual,
or a phrase, just like what is this rite of passage of perimenopause?
I love that. I would say it's really entering into your depth of beauty. Entering into your depth of innate beauty. The inner beauty that is ours on the other side of adulthood, that we get the rest of our lives to live. And as long as we treat it as an exploration, and with curiosity and wonderment that it's a miracle to live this part of life, as opposed to being sad about it or curse it, or, just go down the road of shadow and hell, like some people think it is. It's not.
Yeah, and I love you're just a living embodiment of that innate beauty.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Yeah. So Sabrina and I are going to have a deeper conversation about this for the course that I'm teaching, Reversing Our Curse. She's one of the guest teachers there. And you've also contributed some great recipes for menses and perimenopause and menopause. That's part of the course as well. So if you'd like more information about that, there's a free class, and you can sign up at the link at the end of this video. And please also check out Sabrina at afemininefeast.com. Thanks so much, Sabrina.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.